Hello, friends, and welcome to a replay analysis. This one is special for all you Herald players, and really anyone to an extent, but this is a Herald 5 Dawnbreaker 4 game, and we are going to be specifically talking about things that may make the climb more difficult because you're kind of just leaving things up to random chance. We are going to be covering the whole game, which is a little unique. Usually we only do like partial replays, but this is a special prize for my friends Alexander Coccia and Jiminsbulge's streams. Check out links in the description, all that. It's a fun time there. Anyways, let's get into this. So, I actually saw this game already. The recording got messed up. Here we are, round 2. Item build, I'm fine with. Sniper, maybe Lich, maybe Ogre. We don't know. Orb of Venom could be good, could be bad here. I'm okay with you doing it because this is Herald, which is not meant to be offensive, but Herald has some leeway in what should happen. So at a higher level, I might say that, if this is Sniper Lich, I think it'll be tough for you to get close and make use of this Orb of Venom. I think they'll keep a lot of distance, and you're not going to get a bunch of benefit from this. You might prefer different items. I think they probably will get too close, and then you're going to get good value from this Orb of Venom. So I'm going to toss that out there. Just keep it in mind that this may not be something that works forever, but you are matched with the Viper offlane, so Orb of Venom plus Viper could be a ton of kills. In the laning stage, you want to look to draw the lane back. That'll be the emphasis. We'll get back to that. This is the first of what I want to talk about, the totally random outcomes that could make your game great or could make it terrible. And if you don't realize you're doing this, it may feel like, oh, my games in Herald, they're so random. It's like it's total toss-up who wins or loses. And then I see stuff like this where you're putting yourself in the toss-up. The idea here that I think you're going for is that, if a support Lich or a Sniper walks in too close, they don't see me because of this tree, I'm going to get a great trade. I'm going to hit them with Dawnbreaker. I'm going to Orb of Venom them. It's going to be really good. That is true. If that happens, it'll be really good. What if it's Sniper and Lich? What if it's Sniper and Ogre? What if there's even more than that? Who's going to get the good trade? It's going to be them. In fact, they might kill you, get first blood. You have no escape because you've already leveled Dawnbreaker. I don't know what's going to happen. I have no information on the map. Completely random what could happen here. Whether we're going to start off on a great foot or they're going to start off on a great foot. Absolutely no idea. This will work a lot better if your Viper is a lot closer. This is where you might have to do a bit of team communication. Say like, hey, let's go play aggressive. I got this Orb of Venom. Team, come with me. And you see, I know it's a pub, guys. I know. No, you're going to leave the comments like, oh, it's so hard to get my pubs to do things. I know that. You don't need to get every single pub to do it. But if they're not going to do it, then you're not going to walk up this close and put yourself at risk and make it a total coin flip whether this game is going to start off on the right foot or not. If the team comes, fantastic. You stand here, Viper somewhere back here. Someone walks in, boom. 2v1, maybe 2v2. 2v2 would still be good for you because Viper and Dawnbreaker are very strong at the start. 1v2, never good for you though. So, as Viper gets closer, it becomes a little better. But he's still over here, notice. So like, if they were to come in at any time now, you still just have to run away because by the time Viper gets here, you're probably dead or very close to dying. Your team gets the D ward, that's cool. That's not what we're gonna emphasize. Viper's getting closer and closer, right? It's getting better and better. Now, if someone were to appear from this lower angle, probably okay for you. If they appear from the top angle, pretty bad for you. Still, random toss-up, no idea what's gonna happen. If you wanted to commit the Observer Ward, that would provide the information you need to make this choice. But I think this is a weird area to ward, which you go ahead and do. So, if you were going to do this, I think you should probably commit the ward a lot sooner, because there was like, a whole minute or so of time where I was saying like, I have no idea what's going to happen. It's totally random here. If you had the Observer Ward down, it's not so random, because we do see a bit more, and if you see 2 heroes walking up, you will run away. If you see 1 hero walking up, you'll stay. However, I don't think this is a great Observer Ward for you, because whoever's down here, probably Sniper, Lich, or Ogre, turns out it's Lich, the 5 usually doesn't roam over to the mid all that often. This ward is probably better for you in the lane or to snipe couriers. in the lane is so that you can roam, because Dawnbreaker's a roamer, and you're going to leave Viper alone, so he would like some information of when Lich is trying to wrap around on him or something like that. So I think an Observer Ward here would be better than this one. Which is one of the things, I don't know what Lich was doing, guys, but he gets first blood. This particular game, a little weird. I don't know what's going on there. But the 2v1, where the support is legitimately going for the rune, that could very well happen. So we're not going to worry about it too much. That's what I'm saying, though. Like, turns out in this game, Lich, let's pretend he wasn't doing like weird AFK stuff, did walk in and we had a great start. That was not skill-based. It was complete luck. He put himself in the right position, but could have also been in the wrong position. So this is why we need to be careful with where our team is and consider, like, is this a good idea or not? And is this like a guesstimated risk? Like, I saw 3 heroes flash top, so I know there's probably only 2 here. That kind of thing, I'm more into. This time we had very little information. So coming up here now, you've got a good start. You got that first blood, buying the wand. I'm fine with that. These guys will cast a decent amount of spells. You're going to start fights. Right now, doing nothing. I think come here. Remember what we said? We want the lane to pull back because that's how Viper kills people. So step 1 could be with body blocking the lane already. And then step 2, as soon as this creep gets low, just start hitting it. What are you really going to do over here? You know, Sniper's probably going to walk through the lane, so you're not going to do anything to him, especially because you start with the Starbreaker. Oh, which, by the way, I should say, against 2 ranged heroes, Celestial Hammer's probably safer than Starbreaker. But anyways, so you could have killed that melee creep a little faster. Sounds mild. If they harass you, they probably draw creep aggro. The creeps run in her tower. Great. Maybe you do it intentionally. You stand here, you draw the aggro, pull it back. Your creeps will run in her tower. It's going to shove the lane. It's going to put you in a very good spot. And then you can run them down for kills with a Viper. When they're right by their tower, very difficult to do that. Anytime you intentionally manipulate equilibrium can be very good at Herald, because a lot of people have no idea what they're doing. Again, no offense, guys, I love you. But from what I've seen, totally random what can happen down here. So if you come with some kind of plan for equilibrium, that is usually a very good thing to do to help get you out of here. And for example, I think body blocking the small camp is great, but you had time. You still had time to like hit these couple creeps, take a couple harass shots to buy time for Viper, and then you walk over here. You pick up the next Observer Ward. Be careful. It's a little greedy, right? Top lane didn't get one, mid got one, you got one, and now you're getting a second one. Where are you going to put it? You know, somewhere here? Maybe. You're going to row mid to place it? I mean, this one's still up, right? So you don't quite need this. I would consider leaving it for top up here. Next up, you come to do a pull. This is generally good, especially for getting the lane to pull back. Even at this point, you can still abort the mission, though. So I know it's a little mechanically tough, but let's look at this again. So you came here. Sorry, go back to your perspective. There we go. So you hit this, and look how many times you're clicking over here. It's really just one click. So hit that, hit here. That's about 1 second. And then come move your camera down here, and let's do some quick math. I see 2 and 2 creeps, so that's actually equal, but my creep's actually really close to dying. Remember earlier we were talking about hitting your own creeps. It starts to build a small advantage. That would come into play here. This creep's probably already dead, and then this is pushing in. I actually don't need to pull. But let's let it play out a little longer. Here we are saying we can still abort. Let's check here. I don't need to pull. I see one ranged, but like half health melee creep, and the important thing is that it's above 50%. It's pretty close, so this is like a little on the edge. But what they should do is actually both hit this melee creep and start to fix it. You see what I'm talking about? No one does this stuff. Sniper now starts to do it, right? So if you didn't pull these creeps, it would be meeting right around here right now. Probably a little further, probably more like here. This is good enough, right? If you wrap around because Sniper walked here, or a Lich walked up a little too far, this is where it becomes possible to run them down, get the 5 Viper attacks, which crushes them. And of course, because it's pushing, it will keep pushing and get its way up to here. Doing this pull, random chance moment again. It's not that random, though. There's a couple things that'll happen here, that could happen here, and I don't know what everyone will do. So this is why it's a little random. Viper probably has to go under tower. He doesn't want to miss all these creeps. they're all about to walk forward. Fortunately for you, you have one random melee creep that lost interest in the camp, so it's over here. It's going to buy you some time. A lot of these creeps are going to walk under tower. It's going to be very sad. Miss a lot of golden XP. If Sniper and Lich don't come to this camp, that's fine, actually. It's really good. But you'll notice that the idea of pulling is equilibrium and denying things from the enemy. Right now, nothing's dead. Here's one creep. Here's the others. Sniper, right here. He'll make his way over. Hasn't missed a single creep. Viper, probably going to be forced to pull under the tower or drag the creeps over here. I don't know if he's going to know to do this. So he will probably just walk under the tower, right? This is the worst case scenario. That means Sniper and Lich are here. They bully you out 1v2. They get an extra hard camp. Not only do they get the full creep wave, they get the extra hard camp. It's making it harder to play the lane. It's not game losing, but this is how you accidentally give the enemy team an advantage through pulls. You have to be very careful with this stuff. So here, play it out, right? He actually walks up a little far before Viper had to go under tower, so he was a little too excited about this. And so now you're going to get a pretty decent trade here. Almost killing him, but not quite. However, in the meantime, look at these creeps. Goodbye, creeps. It's pretty sad, right? And yeah, your creeps got denied and they got zoned out, so that part's like, not too bad either. Like, everyone's just missing creeps here. But it didn't quite have to be like that. Especially if you didn't pull, it would really just be here and you'd be good to go. In the end, this was not the worst for you because you got a pretty decent trade on that Sniper. And if you had level 2 here, maybe from being in the lane a little sooner, you see Viper's level 2 and then some. This is because you were like over here while the lane was going on, so you missed a little bit of XP. If you were level 2, that kill attempt probably does work out. And you were like follow attempt kill, that one would work out because you're really close, right? There's like 1 or 2 creeps. So Dawnbreaker is a hero who really likes having both these spells. Many supports do actually like to have 2 spells. So don't be too sacrificial, giving your offlaner like too much XP. Actually, be careful of that. It really depends on the matchups in the games. In this case, I would say it's okay to hit level 2, and most matchups it is. But occasionally, Timbersaw is like a big example. He really wants a bunch of levels, and it might be okay to give him more XP, but it really depends on your hero and his hero. Like, usually you can get to 2 and then give him more XP. So as a general rule for now, if you're not sure, get to level 2 and then consider giving more XP to your offlaner rather than do it from level 1. So I want to start zooming through here because the lane and all that is actually not that significant to me. I think your laning and your items and skill build are actually all like relatively okay. One thing you're going to see, you go Tranquils before Arcanes. So we're just going to knock some easy stuff out here. You go Tranquils before Arcanes. I think you should swap that. Get the Arcane Boots first. Dawnbreaker 4 is slightly greedy and mana intensive. So you can get away with getting the Arcane Boots, and it really helps you not only for yourself, but as you ult into fights, play with your team, you get to supply them with mana, and that's how everyone gets to keep up the tempo. I really like your choice to roam here because this lane is in a great spot, and so you're like, oh, let me go get the water rune. This will help with your mana and regen. I don't know if you're intentionally doing this, but I think it's great. Now as you come over here, I think it's tempting because she's low, but I also think it's very difficult for you. And don't forget, we're getting towards the end of our regen. You have the wand, but it's got no charges. So we want to be careful with how we use our spells. The lane is still in a very good spot here. If you come down the next lane, these creeps are just kind of getting here. The enemy creeps are probably somewhere around here right now. And so it's probably going to meet somewhere around here. Still a very good spot to try to run someone down with Viper and get a kill. A lot more a lot more likely to happen than a Wind Ranger. I know she's low. I know it's very tempting, but it's tough. And you kind of see, like, right, you even accidentally take some tower shots. And now, like, I still want to go bottom, but this mango's not enough for 2 spells. And I'm kind of low. What if I just die to Lich or Sniper? It's starting to feel weird. So I'd prefer, instead of attempting that mid kill, you just kind of like make your way here. This, I think, is very possible to happen. He doesn't see you yet. It's at the very edge of vision. If you hit this sentry, you reveal that you're here. I think this is the time to like sneak around and like tell Viper like, oh, go, 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 go. And then you intercept Sniper here. You know Lich teleported over here. In fact, he's still in the lane. Sniper's on his own. guaranteed kill right here if Viper goes on him and you wrap around. Viper has time to get like one last hit and then move up, and then you will intercept Sniper. You won't deny this in time for the hard camp to spawn. Too bad. But it's not the end of the world. You know, I think the kill on Sniper is bigger because then you can just shove the wave in and reset equilibrium. He's still dead, you know, so I think hitting this kind of missed it. I actually maybe still get the kill. I forgot. It could have been a kill still. I think what I said first is still like the better way to attempt it, if I do say so myself. But actually, that your attempt might have also worked if Viper had moved up a little sooner. Here, still same idea. We can still go on Lich. We know he's alone. Sniper over here. And you do. Great. So, a couple things here. Shove this in. Start getting some tower damage. Could be good. 6 minutes. Power runes. Could also be not a bad idea to roam. Sniper over here. I was kind of flaming your ward earlier, but it's providing you some good vision, which is that Lich is dead. And Sniper, let me tell you where Sniper is going to go. Do you think he's going to go like this? No. I promise you, this is a path right here. Or maybe it's like it's one of those. And you can intercept him. Like you and Viper could go over, or at least you, and get in a pretty decent trade. Let's see. Oh, I was wrong. He went top. Where are you going, buddy? Oh, he's blocking the hard camp. Wild. He still walked through here. This is where I would have looked to intercept him. So if you walk over here and you don't see him, that's pretty weird. And then I would look around. That's what I'm saying. It's so hard to predict what happens here. Skipping ahead a little bit. You're currently back at base. You see stuff going on mid. You rotate in. This is all well and dandy. Get a Wind Ranger kill. Nice. Couple options here. So, just killed Wind Ranger. Lich happens to be dead right now. Ember's dead. So the mid lane is free for you. Do we want to just stay here forever? Not really. You have an observer ward. This would be a great time to place one, especially Sniper. He's very easy to kill. If Ember runs at him, you can ult in. If you just find him, you can get a pretty good trade, maybe even kill him. He's probably somewhere in their jungle or in this triangle. So take your pick. I think bottom will be a little easier because our two main heroes we want to get involved with are Viper and Ember, and they're like mid and bottom, you know? So it's easier for either of them to meet in this jungle rather than this one. And it's still pretty early, so Sniper will have trouble with Ancients. So I would expect Sniper to be like jungling in here if he's having trouble in the lane. So deep ward somewhere in here would be great. However, you can't just like walk away while the lane's here, right? We're missing resources and they're going to see you leave. So I think it's okay to throw in a spell or two here and just auto attack a bunch, pop this clarity, and kill this wave as quickly as possible so that you're then free to do something. Plus, you have your ult, so you'd love for things to get active. And if something were to start right now, yeah, we're going to miss these creeps. I'm going to feel a little sad. Speaking of which, you know, something going on up here. I don't know if you see this. Map awareness is tough, I know, especially while last hitting. And I actually wouldn't have gone up here. But you gotta, like, check in just to know, right? We take a look and we go, Timbersaw Ogre chasing a Witch Doctor. Sorry, Witch Doctor. I'm gonna farm these creeps. Goodbye. But checking will let you make that informed decision. I don't blame you. I know it's hard to keep track of everything. But Dawnbreaker, it is especially important to try to have good map awareness and check in on that kind of stuff. Notice, like, by the time she respawns, it's been, like, 26 seconds while she was dead. And the whole time you've been stuck mid because you're just, like, hitting creeps one at a time as the last hits go. So really throw out a spell or two or just auto attack all the time. Secure the range creep first. Most valuable, affects the push the most. And then go to like the others. And then you would have farmed the same amount of stuff. Placed your ward. Okay, sorry. You would have farmed the first wave faster. You would have had time to go place this ward. Maybe make it active play. And then you can choose whether you come back mid for that next wave, or maybe your mid laner will come here and take it while you complete a play bottom or something like that. So this part is like it was good. The rotation mid, the kill, that was good. But we could do a little more with it. And that's a big part of climbing MMR in general, not just Herald. But doing as much as possible. I think right now you're playing, honestly, a bit better than Herald 5, in my opinion. I like this. This will work for a deep ward. Whether you'll climb quickly or not, I don't know. You know, it might still take a little bit of time. But if we can, like, add in some of these extra benefits, which we're about to get into one right here, then great. So here, example of where arcane boots are great, right? You have this 3-man fight here. Get the get the timber. Pop your arcanes, helps with your mana, helps Viper's mana, helps Ember's mana. You see how all of them, we want to be active. Can Ember be very active right now? Not too much. He has no mana. And Viper, a little longer. He actually has a clarity. He's ready. But it would be a little tough to start something right now because he kind of needs to cast Poison Attack at least 5 times, plus any other spells. So anytime you want to play at like a higher tempo, and for yourself as well, arcane boots can be very good. It really does depend on the hero, so Tranquils are not wrong. But yeah, I do think Ember could have stayed and helped you push this tower a little faster. I think that would have been really nice. And I think coming up here, you should actually be intercepting the next creep wave and dragging it up to this small camp. It's not guaranteed, but there would be a very high chance you take the small or the tower off of that play. But now it's just kind of, who knows? Maybe Viper doesn't push. This is one of those things where it's a little random, right? I don't know if Viper's going to do the right thing. Maybe he's just going to like back off and take the tower. Or sorry, take the hard camp, and then this tower is going to be ignored. If you pull the small camp or drag this creep wave to this tower or to this camp, whatever Viper does, even if he backs away, this will result in a lot of tower damage. You see, you're already getting a good amount of tower damage. If no one from the enemy team responds, which you see Sniper here, see Wind Ranger, see 2 heroes here, there's a good chance no one's responding. It would kind of guarantee the tower. But now as these creeps come in, they fortify, right? Your creeps are distracted. They're not hitting the tower, kind of wasting some time that this tower probably could have fallen. Here, I like this. Dive the Sniper. Pop your fortification. It'll keep your creeps alive, which will make this tower dive safer, and it'll keep your catapult probably alive, so that after you get this kill, you will guaranteed take this tower. In this case, you do kill the Sniper, and then you'll see, no creeps left, so it kills this. Now, after that kill, same thing. If you don't want to fortify, next creep wave coming in. I know Ogre's here, but you're full health. Viper's nearby. Sniper just died. Go ahead, aggro that creep wave. Drag it up here. Guaranteed. With full creep wave and Viper, probably a tower. Even without Viper, full creep wave will do about half this tower health on its own. Plus, you'll get to farm all of it and the small camp. That's kind of another example where we could do a little more, right? You had the time to do that, and then turns out you need to ult somewhere. You're ulting top. This would be great. Super active gameplay. This would have been quite impactful, though, of taking this tower. Is Viper going to push this lane in? Spoiler, he is. But will he always? Will your offlaner always do the right thing? I don't know. So leaving it up to chance, you know, I win some games where they do the right thing. I lose the games where they don't do the right thing. If you do this little trick I talked about, I win the games where he does the right thing. I have a better chance to win in the games where he does the wrong things. Because we're not going to win every game where they do the wrong things. But you have a better chance because the right thing would have happened and you kind of like took it upon yourself. You're doing extra roles besides just being, you know, I think you're like doing your job. And I'm looking for you to do some other people's jobs as well in these. Now, after that rotation top, you'll notice, again, having to run home, no mana. Why arcane boots are great. You've been buying a couple clarities. I love that. Couple more. But you wouldn't even need to buy as many if you had the arcane boots. Instead of running home, you'd be free to just farm an extra camp. You get that much closer to Holy Locket. Just another half minute sooner, 1 minute sooner. You know, every time you have to go home, it's 30 seconds pretty much to walk home. So it's just, what else could I do in 30 seconds? I could place a deep ward. I could farm a camp. I could be part of a little fight going on. It's all these things. What do I accomplish going home? I just regen, which you need to do. But if we can find a way to solve that without having to go back, that's great. So Dawnbreaker happens to be a hero who Tranquil boots first, not quite as necessary. You can get Arcane boots, and then you get this headdress. That's going to provide you HP regen. All of it's going to work to a Holy Locket, faster timing, and solve your early mana issues. By the way, I would go Q, W max before the Luminosity point. I see a couple Dawnbreaker 4s pick up an early Luminosity, but I generally don't think it's very worthwhile. So, in my opinion, Q and W first. But, I'm not going to make a huge deal out of it. For this early to mid game, thinking about how can we get our team to do more stuff, who do I want to play with? Still want to play with Ember and Viper. So I don't kind of like make my way to them. Viper's coming mid, so that's great. Shove this in. Be careful of how many spells we're using, right? If I got an ult, one spell, how much mana does that cost me? More than I currently have. So the first couple spells were okay. Now you've been using them a couple too many times to farm. You got to be careful, right? If a fight breaks out, I can't bring everything in my toolkit. I just don't have the mana. But I do like that you're here with Viper. Rather than hit this tower, I might stand here. Or if you are going to hit the tower, like stand somewhere here. Reason being is that they might teleport in and you guys don't even know. But if you stand here, you'll see the teleports and Viper will have time to get out. Hopefully you have time to get out. You know, if you're any other support, you probably just walk away and hope. Dawnbreaker, you have an escape with Celestial Hammer, so you're probably good as you position here. It would make this a much safer play. In this case, you see 4 heroes top, so you're probably fine, but I do want to throw it out. You know, sometimes you don't see 4 heroes, or sometimes they'll like disappear and then start TPing in, and so like standing here, usually a little better. But since they are showing that many heroes, you can stand up there. But here, like see you're backing away now, you're kind of like scared. Come stand in here. 2 heroes top, are the others rotating? I don't know. If they're walking, you have time to react. If they're teleporting, stuff's about to go down, like in 1 second. I would know that if you stand here. We're kind of removing these random gambles. Like, maybe they're coming, maybe they're not. I don't know. You come bottom, I don't like this. Dawnbreaker is usually a hero that does want to split push away from her team with Solar Guardian, and that is typically good. You do it a couple times this game, and it's good. This case, Juggernaut's down here. I don't want to do anything bottom. I don't want to draw any extra attention to this Juggernaut that might result in these heroes coming down here to deal with me, because now they see multiple heroes down here. They're like, we got to defend. And Juggernaut's farming is not as good. You leave Juggernaut alone. You leave this lane alone. You play with the Viper. You play with the Ember. You push out top. You know, defend this safely while your team like pushes mid and you ult in. Those would be better cases of split pushing. But here, you like leave the active hero we want to be with. By the way, you walk through here providing them free information. This does give sight, just like this one does. And then you see like Juggernaut, let's look at his. He wants to farm bottom, but now there's like Dawnbreaker's here. So he's like, I'm not going to waste my time with that. You know, I guess I go farm over here. He's warding. Yeah, that's cool. And then he's going to get, like, baited into a fight. He's, like, going to come chase this Lich. Like, you know, what's going on here? Really shouldn't be doing this. Gets a kill. Dies for it. Is this fully your fault? No. He could have just, you know, farmed these camps. It wouldn't have been as efficient as getting to farm bottom. But he didn't have to die like this. However, you did kind of bait him into it because you come bottom. And I think it would have felt a lot more natural from his perspective to go to this bottom wave next if you're not here. But now you're here and he's just trying, he's like, well, if I go bottom, you know, the farm's gone already because Dawnbreaker's going to get it. So I'm going to go somewhere else. That kind of baits him into like a chain event where he happens to then find an enemy and he wants to try to like get a kill. So this is one of those things where this is not so random chance. This is like pretty consistent. Avoid your carries as much as possible if they're mostly farming, especially because you can just ult in to help him anytime you're needed. You don't need to like sit near him. Here's another walk home, by the way. Arcane Boots. You'd already have the Holy Locket actually, but the Arcane Boots, you could be farming right now. You could be walking to Ember to make a play. You could be smoking with Viper right now if you have the extra regen rather than having to walk home and teleport out. Now, of any time to do it, this is not so bad because Solar Guardian is down. You don't want your team to be like doing too much, but you could be helping yourself, just like farming an extra camp. You don't even have to use that many spells while you clear it up. You can just like auto attack a camp a bunch, or because you have the mana, you can use some spells, and you have like the salves and stuff from the shovel to be okay. This TP top is mostly fine, but I would be a little careful. You do have Solar Guardian to relocate around, so for Dawnbreaker, it's all right. But if you're doing this with other heroes, then that's going to be an issue. I would prefer if you just walked here. Even with Dawnbreaker, I think you have time to walk here and then farm this. And then as any other support, if something happens bottom, you can TP in. Something happens mid, you can TP in. As Dawnbreaker, you can ult in. And then you can TP bottom. Double play if something like that happens. But now you can only ult into like one spot. And look, you would have had tons of time to walk up here. Plus, you TP'd here and ran to the Timber Saw. Were you really going to solo the Timber Saw? Probably not, right? So you had time. And I would actually just stay top. I would keep pushing out. Because you have your ult, this is like what you do as Dawnbreaker. You keep pressuring top and eventually force someone to rotate up here and tell your team, like, okay, quick, go. Like, go get this Lich or go get this Wind Ranger. Because this ward, great, deep ward, vision for this kind of stuff. You know, you draw someone top, your team goes bottom, and you ult in. And that does kind of end up happening. This is a good ult from you. Get a nice kill. Let's finish off this Lich before deciding what to do next. All right, pop quiz for all the viewers. What's a good thing to do right now? So, I see a couple options for you. Roshan is cool. You don't have the greatest Roshan lineup, though. And I know it's very hard to get your pubs to do that kind of thing. You also took the fight bottom, so it's a little tough to get the Roshan in time to do it, but the death timers are kind of long enough where I think it could be possible. But you're going to need, like, at least 4 heroes. Pushing bottom, I'd be okay with. You have a creep wave right here. You just wiped 3 of them. You have multiple cores down here. Usually taking a tier 2, not that urgent compared to other things, but in this particular case, I'm down for it. Now, for you individually, you have this Observer ward. It would be a great time to place it. If you had any sentries, good time for dewarding too. But anyways, Observer, you already have one here. I already have one here. So I wouldn't want you to place like another one down here because it's kind of overkill, especially because if we take this tower here, there's no more reason to really come down here. So from you, if your team's going to push this, then I'm okay with you staying here and just like providing support, holding on to this Observer. If your team's not going to do this, maybe they are doing Roshan. I would love for a deep ward to be somewhere over here because whether your team does Roshan now or not, it's going to set up for a Roshan later by having deep vision in this triangle already. So that could be something you do while these 3 heroes are dead and if your cores all do like the right thing. If none of them go bottom, you can't really do it yourself either. You won't take this tower. You'll just like chip it. So at that point, it's kind of better to go ward in my opinion. You know, this kind of stuff, I think you want to stay like near your team. You already ulted, which means you can't participate if something goes on. But you're a 4 support. You're kind of the initiator for your team. It's a little funny, right? But you are. And you have this holy locket. You like to be in these fights. But instead you come down here. And Juggernaut was down here originally, right? It's kind of that same deal as earlier. I want Juggernaut to farm. In this case, he probably could participate. He has his ult. He has, you know, some fighting items. So it wouldn't be the worst for him to participate. But if someone were going to be down here farming while everyone else is doing something, Juggernaut's already down here. 3 people up here doing things. Come join these people doing things. And that way, if a fight does break out, it's your best bet. 5v4 is not going to be great, but like you're going to have the ideal heroes. And even if you lose that fight, Juggernaut is going to be farming the whole time. It's going to feel better. You down here while Juggernaut goes to join the fight feels a little weird. Just a little. You know, all this stuff happening mid. It's kind of hard to get there in time. In this case, you did get here in time. They didn't do anything. So you weren't punished for it, but they should have had that information as well. They should have seen you. By the way, you did end up placing an Observer ward down here. Or maybe that was Witch Doctor. I don't know. Someone placed it down here, and I hope you guys can see how this is a bit overkill, right? Three Observer wards like this. Like, I really see everything going on down here. But I kind of want Roshan and this tier 1 tower, and then these 2 tier 2 towers are just as good as this tier 2 and this tier 2. So if I was going to blanket anywhere with Observers, I'd probably want to do it in the top half rather than the bottom half. This team fight coming up here, not a great time for your team to do it. Why? 1, ultimate of yours, big team fight part, still down. 2, no creeps. We're coming into a tower. We got these like Lich ult bounces. No creeps. Where are they? They're all the way over here. So this time to fight, not great. I think you're probably experiencing something right now where a lot of people don't know what to do after you take like these tier 1s. And then it's like, well, tier 2s are kind of hard, but like that seems like the most natural thing to do. It could do a tier 1 top, but like, you know, and a lot of people aren't thinking to do Roshan. So they feel forced to do this kind of stuff. But you don't have to. You can spend 5 more minutes simply out farming them, right? You have 1 extra tower. You have crazy vision down here we've already talked about, right? So your team could farm like everything around like this, and you probably like split top a little bit, but it would go in your favor. It'd be like 60-40 in your favor. After 1 minute, not a huge deal. 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, you all are finishing next major item 1 or 2, 3 minutes ahead of the enemy team. That's your power spike. Boom, then you go and do things. So you don't need to do this like 5-man push on tier 2. Just let people farm. Farm up, out farm them for the next couple of minutes till you feel stronger to take Roshan, to take pickoffs, things like that. These kind of like forced plays are usually not going to be great. You are ahead, so it might work out a little better, but here's the Lich ult kind of wrecking you because you have no creeps. Here's them diving tower, no creeps to back them up, right? It's sort of working because you all are fairly ahead. If this was an even game, or if anyone messed up a little more, it would not be nearly as good. And in fact, it still wasn't that good. You kind of lost 2 cores to their 1 support, 1 core, right? So you won't lose off of this, but it's making the game harder for you. And I know it's not easy to get your team all on the same page on that, but from your side, you can just say something like, hey, just farm up for the next couple minutes, and we'll try to get a pick off, you know? No need to force like this big 5-on-5 at like not even the best place. If you force it somewhere else, like in your better vision down here, I'd be more open to it. But I think that's just not the best time. Now for you, I do think top is still like the next thing. If you win a big fight there, you can get Roshan. So I'd want you to play top anytime you don't have your ult. And if you don't have your ult, then you can push out bottom. This ward, I don't mind. But I do think you want to start having some sentries, even though you're position 4. You don't have to buy too many. But, you know, what if they had an observer here? This is going to be gone for free. So if you're picking up a couple observers to place as the position 4, that's fine. I'd say it's even good. And a couple sentries here and there also does not hurt, just to make sure your observers are going to survive and not die. Because I really want vision up here for the Roshan and for like all the next future objectives. So I don't want to like risk this getting killed. I need this to survive, because otherwise, you know, I just don't have anything here for 6 minutes or until the next observer and I choose to place it somewhere there. And maybe that one gets dewarded, you know? Ah, here's your sentry. I spoke a little too soon. But you could just hold this observer until a little later. Hold it until your sentry arrives. Now, tactically, what your team can do, you have all your ults and everything. 3 heroes here. 1 hero here. 1 hero here. So actually, if you all want to quickly get together and like take a 5-on-3 and kind of 5-on-4, she'll probably arrive in time to help. But you might already kill Sniper in that time. So this could be a good fight. You also don't have to fight. You can send Viper alone to just shove this in. It's going to force someone up here to defend. And if they don't defend, you just get a cool free tier 1. Awesome. If someone defends, Viper has bots. He just backs up a little, teleports somewhere here. 5v4. Great. That can be something you can do. Right now, kind of just chill, you know, no one's really doing anything. Now, as those heroes all disappear, we got to be a little careful, especially for Viper. Then this ult here, I like the map awareness. I don't know if it's worth it, though. I think Lich is just the position 5. Save this big team fight ult for something bigger. But I like how quickly you saw this. Like, I think that's good. But the kill itself, I think, is not that critical. Turns out Sniper was here as well. After this play, though, keep an eye on your like team doing things. They're kind of backing up, and then these guys are coming in for the Sniper, so you want to turn around and get back in there as well. Now, like, this stuff going on, and like you guys aren't here. And this is where your ult could be really nice. I mean, you're winning this fight anyways, but you see, like, it would be nice there. Roshan! Great time for it. I don't think your team will do it, but that would be the time for it. I like that you're currently with your team, but now see how you're backing off? I don't like this as much. You don't have your ultimate, so I think you want to stay near these people and help them out as they get involved in stuff. You're coming back here for the bounty rune. That bounty rune here will be here forever. It will never disappear until the enemy takes it. But you all are like this little wall right here that just killed a couple of them. So there's no way they're going to get it. Eventually, you will be pushed back, and then you will take it. But you got a couple kills, And I feel like you chose to come back here, and you're kind of like giving the enemy ground. And why did I give them ground? 2 of them are dead. There's no reason for me to go back. So I think you should stay up there. Just pop these clarities. Stay near your team. Now, because you're not there, Viper's backing off. Jug's still up here, which is a little risky. He should also back off, which I would say is not great for you all. You want to stay, like, aggressive. Especially as, like, you see a lot of heroes here. If you were already in this area, you could be, like, starting to pressure this more and punish them for bringing so many heroes here. And then you have your ultimate. You're coming down here preemptively. I don't hate this. And again, I like this ult overall. But I don't know. I think like backing up over there is just not ideal for what's going on. Pop quiz, what do we do? No observers to place this time. Still a great time to get Roshan. If you want to push bottom, I guess that's also okay because the catapult's here and like 3 of them are dead or whatever. But I think one hero could do this. Maybe even you and your team goes to do Roshan. Is it going to happen? I don't know. I know it's a pub game. I know it's not easy to get your team to do stuff, but you only need to get them to do it a couple times here and there, and that's how you win a couple extra games and how you end up going up in MMR. From here, a bunch of heroes are just kind of like flashing on the bottom lane, so I know they're coming up here. Viper doesn't have mana, so I just want to dodge this fight. He needs time to regen, and because a lot of them TP'd down here, you could kind of see... oh, sorry, I'll go back. 2 heroes, 3 heroes, very briefly flashed. This is where constant map awareness really pays off. I know several heroes came down here, and there's a good chance several of them TP'd. That means top and mid are fairly free. Your team should just dodge this bottom area. You don't need to do anything. In fact, you could just run straight to Roshan and do that. Now, Viper kind of has that idea. He gets out, but then your team's on a different page. They're like running down here to do stuff. And this is going to lead to kind of a poor fight for your team. It sort of works out because these guys are ratting up here. But we didn't really need to take this fight. And in fact, this push could have happened regardless of this fight here because several heroes rotated down here, which means this push, they're just running. They're just like, oh, we gotta get over here. Oh. And that tower's already dead. In this case, because the fight goes on, they do get to rat the tower, but that's kind of risky, like maybe they just crush this fight and they still make it back to defend. It's gonna feel bad. Like, why do we do that? Especially because we're so ahead. We just need to take kind of like straightforward, clean fights. From here, though, right? We gotta work with what we got. Roshan, not the time to do it. After they all showed top, and then like some of us are dead. Not the greatest time. I would say you just want your team to like smoke up, and when you see people split up on these wards. Oh, by the way, you place this ward. I think this one's a little weird because we really want to do like, let's say you were trying to do Roshan and this tower hadn't fallen yet. They walk through here. They walk through here. They walk through here. None of those paths are revealed by this observer ward. So with our future objectives in mind, Roshan and these towers, I think this observer should be like somewhere in this triangle. Where is up to you. The cliff, here, 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 here. Any of those are all pretty good just to provide vision of the most important objective. This teleport down here. Again, you get to do it because you're Dawnbreaker, but be a little careful. Because even Dawnbreaker, you ult into a fight, die, buy back. I want to TP in, oops, a TP down here. Is it really urgent to push this back right now that you have to TP here? Probably not. Like I said, it's a 30-second walk, so you could have walked down here, and this creep wave is probably like right here at that point. So I think you should have saved your TP. If you were any other support, I would say it's very bad. For Dawnbreaker, it's just okay. Like, I don't hate that you TP, but I still would prefer you walk just because there's a chance you will need both your ult and your teleport. And it's one of the benefits of like being a Dawnbreaker. And we're kind of like not getting the full extent of that by doing that. Another observer ward. What's my goal here? What do I need to see in this area that this observer ward and this observer ward don't already provide? So I want to take this tower. I mean, kinda. This tower is pretty far from this observer ward. The best thing this does is help you pick someone off. But, I mean, if they were going to be here, you probably saw them through here as well. So I feel like these are pretty redundant. And keeping in mind, again, still want to be up here. All my observers are down. I don't have like any extra observers. So like when a fight does break out here, I have no chance to like place any up here and try to get something out of that. Being down here, I'm fine with. I just wouldn't place those observers. Your team coming down here, again, kind of the wrong spot. Tell them to go play top. You don't need them. Maybe you were. I don't know. Team kind of forcing this mid. I do think, you know, Roshan would probably be the safer objective. You see, we're kind of like, this is needless risk, right? This is the toss-up. You guys are 13k up. Any straightforward fight would be great. You remove Juggernaut from the fight, 13k. A Viper, 14k. And you take a fight over here, you're not up. You're behind. Well, why are we doing this? Why do we feel the need to split up like this? Because it's a Herald game, you know? I don't know. People are just doing whatever. But this is where you can be the voice of reason and try to win a couple games where this is happening. You tell your team, like, we're pretty ahead. I know you don't know you're 13k up, but, like, we're 14 to 35. We're pretty ahead, guys. Let's just play as a team. Actually, specifically, you all play as a team. I will split push and I will ult in. You know? It won't work every game. But a couple games, it will work. And then you will get a couple extra wins. It's kind of working out because you guys are so far ahead. From here, do we need to do Roshan? No, actually, not really, because you just killed 4 of them, and this tower is already low, and the creeps are already here, and you've got a bunch of cores here. So actually here, it's fine if you just go for this tower. I know I've been talking about Roshan this whole time, but yeah, we take what we get, and so if your team does end up taking a fight like this, there you go. However, I think it would have been a lot safer to do Roshan versus like a fight behind their tier 2 tower. You know, it's a little weird. But whatever, we take what we get. So now you get this set of racks. The only objective we need is Roshan, and then we can just play bottom and get all those. I don't have to do too much from here. The last thing I'll mention, this guy doing it solo. It's where any of those observers top would have really helped, right, that we talked about. Because this guy gets killed. And he didn't really need to. If your team had played top with him, if you had any observers here, they didn't even smoke in. They just walked in, just to show that. They simply walked forward and found a Juggernaut and killed him. Pretty lucky, timed it with the bounce and all that, but totally preventable. Absolutely no need, right? Any observer wards, any extra hero here to like spot this first, you're gonna win this game. I've seen the rest of it. But if you were to throw, this is how it can happen. Just like, random deaths that aren't really necessary. Your team, maybe you can't get them to play top, but you can be top, breaking the vision for your team. But like I said, you actually kind of crush them from here anyways because you're already so far ahead. You finally take Roche, then you win the game. So we'll end here. In summary, I think your item and skill builds were mostly fine. Nothing big to complain over. I mentioned like a couple things, but it's whatever. But then what I really want you to get from this is, one, warding. Some of your wards, I think, are just... I feel like they're placed just because you feel like, I have an observer, I'm supposed to provide vision. I don't have vision in this part of the map. I'll place an observer here. But tying it with, what do I want to do? I want a certain objective. Having vision in that area is very helpful. Your vision had so much vision, or your team had so much vision bottom. I think part of the reason they kept playing bottom is because they felt safe. They saw so much, so they keep going bottom. That's kind of the power of the observer wards. If you place them top, your team feels a little safer to play top, and maybe they're more likely to go up there rather than like 5 or 10 minutes they kept going bottom, even though there wasn't like a huge objective down there. So the observer placement is pretty important, even without talking and getting your team to do stuff. Just like putting them in the right spot helps your team to play in the right area. But then besides that, there were a couple plays that we talked about where it just feels a little, risky. Like sometimes this will work out and other times it won't. So being aware of that concept and trying to think about it, and I know it's not so easy as to simply do the right thing, right? That's why it's Dota's a tough game, But hopefully this provided some insights on a couple situations, and as you keep getting better at the game, you start to identify it, where you realize, like, let me take the right risks, and let me do the things that help me consistently, like, get into the right part of the map, get the right kills, get the right objectives, and do more than just my job. Because I'd say you did, like, your role as a Herald 5, right? But if you want to go up, you got to do more than the Herald 5. You got to play like a Guardian, you got to play like a Crusader, like so on and so forth. So picked out a couple things like that in this replay, and honestly, even without it, you'll probably get out of Herald, because I think you were playing better than that anyhow, but maybe this will speed up the process. Okay, that's it. Thank you for watching, everyone. If you like these kind of full replays, let me know. I know they're a bit long. I haven't done them for a while. This one's a bit special, so I don't know if we're gonna keep doing them, but if you like them and you want them, let me know. Aside from that, go to the Wednesday streams if you want the, like, short replays. Okay, now I'm done. Thanks. Bye.